Hey, good morning and welcome to 5 on Your Feet. I'm Sydney Stallworth.
And I'm Allie Corey. I'm in for Ryan Dean this week. We're so excited to sit down with you while you are scrolling on your phone. We're going to bring you some of today's top headlines, and we start with some big news out of St. Louis County.
Yeah, that's right, Allie. Okay, so yesterday, St. Louis County decided not to approve Acting Health Director Dr. Faisal Khan for the full-time role. His confirmation was up for a vote yesterday at the County Council meeting, and the council voted to deny it. The vote was 5-2. This decision comes after months of controversy. Back in July, during this council meeting, Dr. Khan said he was the target of racist, xenophobic, and threatening behavior, even shoulder bumped and pushed by some people in the crowd. He responded by then giving them the middle finger. Now, this incident was investigated by the council, but those records are sealed. And just last week, Dr. Khan found himself in another controversy with an email he sent to staff encouraging health workers to keep taking precautions ahead of an expected rise in COVID cases after the holiday gatherings. In it, he wrote, quote, "Ignore the lunatic fringe that exists in every society. They are irrelevant fools." Now, even though Dr. Khan's confirmation was denied yesterday, County Executive Dr. Sam Page says he'll continue serving as acting health director for now.
And that wasn't all that was discussed during yesterday's meeting. The council made some tweaks to the most recent mask mandate submitted back in September, but no action was taken on these changes. They really just clarify how businesses fall into the mix when it comes to enforcing masking. So here are the changes. They outline what the mask mandate does not have the authority to do. So here we go. The order does not prevent any business, public or private place from opening its doors, or does it require places to limit attendance. The mandate does not require any businesses to refuse access to people, and it doesn't force any places to close.
That's right, Allie. Now, we're just one day away from the Biden administration announcing its plan to fight the new Omicron variant of the coronavirus. One of the steps the White House is expected to take, toughening testing requirements for international travelers. That would be for both vaccinated and unvaccinated people. Now, top health officials say it's only a matter of time before Omicron makes its way into the United States. Right now, the variant's been confirmed in at least 20 countries. South Korea just confirmed its first cases of it this morning. The CDC says the U.S. is better prepared for Omicron than it was for Delta.
Now, early research suggests that Omicron is highly contagious with more than 30 mutations on the spike protein. That's more than double what Delta has. So this is important because if you look here at this picture, that spike protein that you see all over the virus, it's the part that binds to the human cell causing infection. So the more mutations on the spike protein, the higher the likelihood of transmission and the more ways for the new variant to likely evade immunity. We should know more about how our vaccines work against Omicron in a few weeks, but so far experts, they are optimistic.
Yeah, and our local experts are optimistic about the vaccines too. The St. Louis Metropolitan Pandemic Task Force says our region is prepared for the variant and there's no reason to panic. Dr. Clay Dunnigan says, quote, "There is a lot of good evidence and good reason to believe that vaccines will protect against serious disease, particularly those who have received their booster doses."
This is interesting. University of Missouri scientists are on the lookout for Omicron in the state's wastewater. The program actually tests nearly 70 samples of wastewater every single day from 23 different communities. Well, the scientists could be the first to know when Omicron reaches Missouri. The tests can potentially detect the variant days before people actually test positive. So, you know how in the beginning when the whole pandemic started, we were always wondering what surfaces, where is it, what do we have to clean, wipe down? Well, I guess in the wastewater, it could show up before people were even testing for it.
Yeah, and that's really, I mean, it's always cool to see how science is able to help us every day. I would never think of that, to test that wastewater. But, you know, we want to be alerted when it does eventually make its way to the state and make its way to our community. We want to know. So that's pretty awesome that they're doing that out there.
It is. It certainly is.
All right. Well, happening right now in St. Louis, Cardinal Ritter students are among others in the community marching in honor of former classmate Isis Marr. She was only 19 and she died in October during a quadruple shooting. She had just graduated from Cardinal Ritter. Students say they will not let violence become the identity of their generation. One student, Abria Miller, told us, quote, "At some point you just have to take a stand and be a leader to take a stand. We decided to make a change. Enough is enough, and it can't continue to happen." The march just started at 9 o'clock. They moved inside because of the weather. Now they met at Wall Community Center and will end at Cardinal Ritter College Prep with a rally for unity. But it looks like they're doing the whole event from Cardinal Ritter. There's a live look there. You can see a ton of people out there in support of this movement. And I honestly think it's great that these young people are stepping up, taking a stand. And look at all those people there in the stands.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's remarkable, too, that the schools are on board with this, because we have seen so much violence among our youth in our community. And you normally see adults standing up and taking action.
Right.
But really, it's going to take the youth, all of these kids here saying enough is enough. And that's what they're doing right now. So
Right, that's what they're saying today.
that is awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Good to see.
We will have some more coverage on the rally during our noon newscast. Now, to put this into perspective, let's take a look at the crime stats across the city. Now, so far this year, there have been 201 homicides, and that's actually down from last year when there were 263 homicides, which was a big spike compared to the last 2 years. There have been 12 kids shot and killed younger than the age of 17 years old so far this year.
Meanwhile, the city's Board of Aldermen is considering a measure that would increase safety requirements for surface parking lots in downtown. Alderman Jack Coder is sponsoring the measure. It would include fencing, gates, lighting, and additional security. Now, this proposed measure comes a couple weeks after a night of break-ins right outside of a Blues game. You probably remember this incident. There was no vote, though, on the measure yesterday, so we will see. I know you covered that, Sydney.
I
You were
did
there.
cover that story, and there was glass everywhere, and not just one parking lot, too. It was multiple.
Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy? Because you're thinking about a Blues game. It's a packed Enterprise Center, and it's so brazen that people would just break all of those windows.
Right.
I mean, there were dozens of cars.
Yeah,
And
dozens.
apparently not a lot was stolen.
No, people were going through the cars. You could see in the videos that we had from a viewer. She submitted that video. Thank you to her. But there was people's belongings scattered across the floor. They were clearly looking for certain things. And St. Louis PD and a couple of other police entities have said that they're casing for weapons in a lot of these cases.
Wow.
They're looking in these cars for guns and other weapons. But belongings everywhere. It's really just sad because you go out to have a good time and
I know.
you come back to see your car completely torn apart.
And it's not just happening in the city
Yeah.
either. It's happening across the county, all
Right.
over the place. And as
the
you
state
said,
as well, yeah.
they're looking for guns. So
Yeah.
if you have them, make sure they're locked or put away.
Yeah,
Because
and-
that'll help police.
Absolutely. And don't leave
public.
anything in plain sight in
Right.
view of the window because people will try to get inside. Yeah.
Especially now with all those shopping bags, right?
Absolutely.
Well, you know, for the second day in a row, Spire's gas prices, one of the top stories on our website. So if you are one of the more than 500,000 Spire customers, it's going to cost you more to heat your home this winter. About a 25% increase. It amounts to about $14 a month more to heat your home in Missouri. So this impacts about a dozen counties within the St. Louis region. So this increase, it went into effect yesterday. And yes, this probably feels like sticker shock, but Spire says it's actually still cheaper than it was 15 years ago.
Really?
Spire spokesman Jason Merrill, he tells 5 on Your Side, the company has been covering the increase of gas for a while now, and it recently got approval from the state to begin to recoup some of its costs. He says, quote, any bill increase is something that we are concerned about as well, and that's why we did what we could with the Public Service Commission to spread this out over time, so that it did not have that impact. And Spire says it does not profit off of the increase and that customers pay what Spire pays for the gas.
Wow, we've heard so much about gas prices. I just filled up before I got here, and it hurt. Let me tell you, it hurts you in your pockets. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's only going to go up too.
I know.
get
Great,
ready.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, this next top story is for city residents. St. Louis has finalized the requirements for those $500 direct
Nice.
cash payments of the American Rescue Plan Act. funds. So to be eligible, you have to be a City of St. Louis resident. You have to earn less than 80% of the area's median income, and you have to have suffered a loss of income during the pandemic, like cut hours, you've lost your job, or treatment costs. Be prepared to show proof for each of these requirements, by the way. The application window opens on December 18th, and of course, we're going to make it easy for you. We have a link on our website under the As Seen on TV section.
Today, sports gambling in Missouri could take a big step forward. At least 3 state lawmakers plan to pre-file legislation supporting legal sports betting. 30 states already have legal sports betting, including Illinois. Missouri lawmakers say the move could mean millions of dollars for the state.
I know there's some people who are pretty excited about that.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Yeah, we are a big sports city, huh? I'm starting to learn. You know,
Yeah.
I'm pretty new here. All right, let's toss it over to Anthony to see what the skies are looking like today.
Hey there, thanks for joining us. Wednesday morning, waking up with showers across the area. A lot of this activity will wind down as we go towards late morning. Sunshine expected this afternoon and a touch warmer this afternoon in St. Louis. We're back into the 60s here in St. Louis for today. Most of us today will climb into the 60s, perhaps mid 60s, and depending on your location, low 60s, especially off on the Illinois side. So today's a decent day, warmer than yesterday after the morning rain clears away. 70 for the high tomorrow with bright skies, 68 on Friday, then colder by the weekend with rain by Sunday.
Right, Anthony. Well, there's a story about seat belts that has a lot of us talking this morning, especially our producer who is currently 9 months pregnant. We hear all the time how seat belts save thousands of lives every year, but those life-saving belts can contribute to fetal injury when pregnant women are involved in car crashes.
Yeah.
So here are the 4 things that pregnant women need to keep in mind before putting the car in drive. Are you ready, Sydney?
I'm ready.
Adjust your seat so that you have as much distance as possible between your belly and the steering wheel. And then adjust the steering wheel so that you can comfortably reach it and the pedals. Put your seatbelt on and adjust the shoulder belt height, and then make sure your belt lap is properly positioned. And do not wear the lap belt over your belly, of course, because that could harm the fetus during a crash. Excuse me. So we actually had this story this morning.
Right.
And it was interesting because when I was pregnant, I never thought about where to actually position the belt. But
Right.
you obviously don't want to have it on your stomach at all.
Yeah, you'd never think that the thing that's designed to keep you safe in some instances can really hurt you and hurt your child, you know, were something to go wrong. And I have to be honest with you, Allie, as I was on the way here, I was a witness to a car accident. No
Really?
joke. Yeah, it was a very minor one at an intersection. But it just lets you know, you never know when these things can happen. These are great tips if you are pregnant or planning to become pregnant, or who knows, you know, these could help save a life. So this is really good. Now it does say that since that seatbelt could harm your fetus in a crash, you want to make sure that the lap belt is positioned right underneath that belly, like you mentioned, Allie, because it should fit snugly right here across your hips and your pelvic bone. That's where you want to keep it. Now it's kind of interesting that this is happening because the system, quote unquote, is not really designed to benefit women, children, or elderly, because these crash dummies that they use to test out the safety of the cars are all modeled after adult men, believe it or not. So that leaves smaller people and women at a disadvantage in a crash because it's designed to see how it would test against that height and that weight. Now, if you are pregnant, it's important to know you should never disable the airbag. It's best to sit in the front passenger seat with that seat pushed all the way back. Now it's the season of giving, and it turns out giving is actually better for your health than getting. A new study from The Ohio State University shows people who are more willing to help and support friends and family actually have less inflammation. Can you believe that? Scientists have long theorized that receiving support is important to your health, but this is the first study that shows giving it may be just as important or even more important. So I know
I agree with this.
Yeah, right. Around this time, you know, we have a lot of close family and friends, and that's cool, but it's just as important to be as supportive as they are to you, to them.
It's true. I mean, obviously getting a nice gift feels good, but it always feels better when you give something to someone else and you make their day.
Right, and it might just make you a little bit healthier. That's always good, huh?
I love it.
Yeah.
We're not. We have another story. If you're hoping to surprise your kids on Christmas morning, chances are they may have already found your secret stash of gifts. There is a new survey that found the bedroom closet is the most popular place to hide those holiday gifts. That's also the first place that kids looked followed by under the bed, the trunk of the car, and in a coat closet.
Oh, they know all the spots.
They really do. And the places where people report the fewest discoveries, parents, the attic, the basement, and the garage. So if you are wanting to hide those presents, I don't think I'd want to go in my attic, but the basement's a good spot to hide it, I think.
Basement. They won't check in there.
In the garage,
Yeah, in the garage, towards the back.
Right?
They'll never find it.
Yeah, or we were joking this morning, maybe the laundry room, because we know the kids aren't going in there to do
They
laundry.
aren't doing any laundry,
No.
that's for sure. Hide it next to the detergent. All right, thanks so much for joining us. It's always fun. Now, a suggestion of viewer before we go sent in to us this morning, hide those gifts in the luggage.
I saw that email and I
Yeah.
responded. I said, that is a great idea.
Yeah, that's awesome. So if you can do that, hide it in the luggage because you know they'll never look in there.
Right.
And have it hidden in plain sight.
Really good idea.
All right, parents,
a lot.
good luck. We'll see you tomorrow.